When this on television, what's the first thing you see when they put a traveller on? In the middle of a field. 3 or 4 dogs wrapped round you. You're in a trailer with some glass windows. Half of them's been smashed.
Well, I've got to be truthful. I wouldn't touch a ferret. I'm quite honest with you. Yeah, but do you not think they either do one thing or the other?
No, there's
right?
no in between.
They either make it look like we all drive luxury cars and we live in these big massive mansions and swan up and down in Louis Vuitton all day.
Yeah.
Or we live in a box.
We've been working with the travelling community for about 3 years now, and what really came quite strongly from a number of the young people and also the parents, first of all, was stigma. The subject matter then went into education around barriers or pressures in terms of accessing education, why some young people go into education and why some people don't go into education. It's impossible to get everybody's views, but what we're hoping is this is a start of other projects to come. It's a start of them discussions and them dialogues.
Sometimes I feel like when I walk into a shop, sometimes people can be negative towards us, even though they don't do or say anything. There's just something like that you feel sort of there.
You're instantly guarded because it's kind of like, oh, they're saying that because I'm a gypsy, because that's the amount of, things you've had pressured on you before.
I think some don't like us and some do like us. I went to school and I was fine. There was non-travellers in there that they got on with me, and sometimes I'd have a chat to them, do you know what I mean?
They think like because we're travellers we're not friendly, like maybe it's because we're all in like our own group. Obviously there'll be some that won't be really friendly to him and won't like him, but obviously like, myself, I like getting on with the people because they've always got a different life story than you have.
We're not actually that different. We have different beliefs, just like every family has different beliefs and values, Everyone has the tradition in that family or their little community, that village. If we all just tried a little bit more to accept everyone, listen without judging, it would make life a lot easier.
I enjoyed school. I think school was good, but I wouldn't like to go to high school.
I think initially there was a fear of education, a fear of mixing sometimes. I think partly because of prejudice that the Gypsy Roma families experience outside of school from other communities.
School was very prejudiced against us. They knew we was travellers and they didn't put as much time and effort into us as anybody else. We was the ones that were sort of pushed aside because they knew we wasn't going to further our education, so we was just sort of like daycare, really. So school to us was just sort of like, right, okay, well as soon as we hit 11, 12, we're out. And that's it. I didn't even get to that stage. I got to 9 and got out. And because of it now, I feel completely disabled because I can't do what is expected of somebody of my age. And I don't want my kids feeling that when they're older.
Take travellers serious. Well, that's why we're bringing our children to school, because we want them to learn. We're not just dropping them off because they want to go and play for 7 hours.
I'm 13 and I go to Heysham High. It matters because, when you're older, sometimes you can't get a good job if you don't do school and everything. If I didn't go to school, I wouldn't really know anything.
I started skirting primary school when I was 4. I went to nursery before that, and then when I was in year 3, skirting shut down and I finished off at Grosvenor Park and went all the way through, and then I just stopped at year 6. I think it's important to learn the basics, but there's nothing that I really think I'd like to go back and do.
Me and Anne's going for a year, and Martine's going for a year afterwards. And when we go home, we're just probably going to get homeschooled. You know how you can get people to homeschool, yeah? We're going to be having that twice, 3 times a week. And then when we're 14, we're going to the college.
I don't like reading. Reading's boring. I can't concentrate. But I do like writing stories. I like making up different characters and things like that.
I like reading and writing and stuff, and I like painting my nails and things. Just anything really.
Like history and maths and English.
I know what my future's going to be like. It's just going to be like a typical travelling woman. I'm most probably going to get married, have children and just be an housewife. And if I'm lucky enough to get my qualifications, I'll have a business to fall back on.
I've been here now for about a year, and I know my kids has been sitting down and they've been learning.
Definitely, especially this school. It's completely unique in that sense. If anything, you're embraced to be a traveller.
I think some of the parents feel uncomfortable because when you get to the secondary school age, there's a lot of sort of adolescence, isn't there? And you've got their young girls who are 11 who are very, protected, and then there's 18-year-old boys
It's up to high school, therefore, to make sure that children are safe and secure, because that's the biggest anxiety for most parents. So the high schools do have a responsibility. It's easy for us in primary school because we're smaller and we have probably more staff, the higher staff ratio.
Some of our parents have said if there was a middle school, or if they weren't with the older ones, or if they could stay here, we'd let them go through. And I have been in talks with the high school about, is there a way we can make that work?
When my kids get run-rolled in the school, sometimes when they say, are you a traveller, I go and take that box, I sometimes stop and I think to myself, should I put it down or should I not put it down? And then sometimes I don't put it down, and then my kids learn more. When I do put them down, they think to themselves, well, how long are they going to be here for? Are they going to be here a week? Are they going to be here a month? So what we'll do, we'll sit them in on a table and we'll learn them how to colour in.
I'm not a traveller, I'm a Romany gypsy, and I'm proud of what I am, and I always will be, and I'll bring my boys up the same, because why should we say no, we're not, just to be accepted and fit in?
Looking back just a few years, the young people who were disengaged would tend to come along, be quite disruptive because their needs weren't being met and their difficulties weren't being understood. Now our programme is completely different, and we look at the person individually, we look at what they need academically, what they need emotionally, what they need physically as well, and we do a timetable around the individual and what their needs are.
So it gives them a young woman something to fall back on, something to call their own, direction in their life, which is very important in this modern world.
Well, to me, what am I going to do when my girl grows up? She needs the same opportunities as my son.
That is the truth, it is the truth, yeah.
Because she might want to be butcher, baker, candlestick maker, whichever it is that she wants to do. I don't care if she wants to be a mechanic. If it's something she wants to do, why not?
Last year we had, I think it was about 9 or 10 GRT learners, all girls, and all wanting, apart from one, to do hair and beauty. One of the main stipulations for any home-educated learner was to do maths and English as well. And we thought this might have been a bit of a barrier for them coming in, and actually we found it was the exact opposite.
I went to Skirton Primary School right through until year 5. Absolutely loved it. Was always really into writing and in the top groups and everything. I wasn't allowed to go to high school, it was just like not what my mum and dad wanted for me. So so I carried on studying at home as well as cleaning and doing all the day-to-day things. I think I was 14 when I started coming here to do the fashion show project, and that really got me thinking about going back into education and studying more and everything. After I finished this, Eileen told us about college and everything, which had never even been a thought before. I went for 1 year to do hair and beauty, even though that wasn't what I was interested in at all. It was just kind of a gateway to get onto another course. Got the qualification for that, I got a B in English and passed all the maths exams. Due to the amount of recommendations I had and things I'd done in the past, I ended up being allowed onto the level 3 BTEC Extended Diploma in Business, which is the equivalent of 3 A-levels. So I'm doing that now, really enjoying it.
I had a really good school education, like high school and everything, and then I was veterinary nurse when I left, and then I've got a NVQ up to level 3 in floristry. And I want my kids to go right through school and do everything they want.
For me, the most important thing is education in its widest sense. And it doesn't necessarily mean coming to college and coming out with a qualification. It's also education as in, who am I? Where could I go? Where do I want to go?
What we've tried to do within this project is allow young people to have access to a range of different activities. So from filmmaking to doing dance workshops, doing drama workshops, creative writing. And by doing that, it then allows us to hopefully help young people raise their vision beyond the immediate, help to raise their aspirations. All that will come together to create a performance, but ultimately it's around them shared themes around what is a gypsy, what is the travelling community, and what does that mean to you.